Hey investors, welcome back to Corporate to Cash Flow. It's your girl Jess Williams, also known as Real Investor Jess. And today I want to walk you guys through the BRRRR strategy and tell you why it's such an important strategy when you are investing in real estate, especially when you're doing those buy and holds, so you can get that quick cash on cash return and keep your money flowing onto the next deals. First, most important, let's talk about what BRRRR is, right? BRRRR is not BRRRR vehicle. This isn't Gucci Mane. We're not BRRRR, right? This is a strategy that a lot of investors use, the smart ones at least, right? BRRRR, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat, right? That's buy, that's a U, rehab, refi, or rent. Sorry, rent. You want to rent it first, because if you go to get that loan against it, they're going to want to know, do you have a tenant in that property? And that's definitely when you're trying to get DSCR loans. You want to refi afterwards, and then you want to repeat that. All right, so that's about BRRRR. Now, the nice thing about BRRRR is that you're going to go ahead and purchase that property. So for instance, I'm going to walk you guys through an actual deal that I did. This will make it a lot easier. So I bought a property in St. Louis. I bought this property for $27K, right? That's out flat, no loans against it, right? So I got now $27K. I renovated this property for $90K. Now I got $117 wrapped up in this deal. Again, if you don't have the funds to be able to put large amounts in like this, obviously you can get a rehab construction loan, or you can give it the hard money lender, right? There's all different type of ways to get money. So don't pay too much attention on these numbers. I don't want to scare anybody, okay? It's just if you have the funds, this is something you can do. We can put the money in. A good amount of this $90K was on credit cards, right? I buy the supplies on I got a Home Depot credit card. Absolutely love it. Credit cards are my business. And then I actually pay my contractors in cash. Cash is king. So I'm now $117K wrapped up in this deal. That's a lot of money to have tied up into one deal, right? But I know I want to hold this property. This is a buy and hold, because that's the only way we're going to cash flow, right? When you flip, you're getting large lump sums, and we all know fast money gets spent faster, right? So I wanted to rent this out. I rent this property for $2K a month. This is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. It's in St. Louis in the county, nice area, large lot. I can have more, but another strategy for myself is that I want to get my tenants in quick. I don't want to have to go through, wait a month or two to see if I can get someone that can afford $2,500, right? A $500 difference is a larger amount, and maybe it is worth the wait for you, but I like to go ahead and I like to provide affordable housing. So I'm renting this property out for $2,000 a month. Then when I took a loan against it, right? I use a DSCR loan. I'm not gonna go into debt on that. That's a whole nother video. I'm gonna try to get through this quickly for you guys. I know time is precious. So I took a loan for this, so we're just gonna say this is the refi, right? I think I'm okay here, right? So this is the refi. I took a loan out. Actually, before I tell you about how I took a loan out on this, let me tell you what this property appraised at after I renovated this. After I renovated this, I'm gonna put little bullets in over here just to kind of show you. This property, I don't want to go too far on the board, so I'm gonna abbreviate this, even though this looks like it could be approximately, it's appraisal. This property appraised at $250K once the renovations were done, right? So we already know I had equity in this. Look, I said 117 in, I've got over 100 Rand of equity in this. 133 to be exact, right? Equity in this has. You can always take a loan to get your property, but you have to leave at least 20% of equity into it, right? I didn't need to take the full 80% out, so I took a loan. I did what we can call a refi, right? It's not really a refi because I didn't never have a loan on it, but if you did purchase and do your renovations with a loan, then you could refi. And now you're gonna take out some money and leave some of the equity in there. I personally took one for $140K. I pulled out, right? So if I pulled out $140K and I had 117 in, and that means lump sum off the bat, I got a lump sum. You know what? We barely write anymore. I don't know who else is with me, but I type all day long. My handwriting is crap. And I'm sorry that you guys had to witness this because this is terrible. Okay, but I've got lump sum off the rip, 23K. So this is almost equivalent to as if I were doing the flip, right? I got money. I got some money back. I got all my money back. I got all my money back. And then I gained some money. And this is what's nice about BRRRR, you'll see as I go along, because you're getting the benefit of all three strategies. Not only did I already put equity into this. So I got equity always grow, right? So I've got my equity growth, right? I got my large lump sum, which is what most people do when they do a flip. And now I'm finna cash flow. This 140K loan, I got a 20-year loan. I always do 20 years. I got a goal for the age that I want to be when all my properties are free and clear. 20 years, put me there. You can do 30 year and you would have got a lower mortgage, right? So the mortgage on this loan, the monthly payments, mortgage, those monthly cadence is $1,089 a month, right? We're gonna just round this up. Let's just say 1,100 to make it easier when we start doing this math. All right, so just say 1,100. This is what the mortgage is monthly. Insurance, it's less than 200 a month. It's like 188 or something. So I like rounding up for these purposes. So insurance is 200 a month. This property particular, I manage myself. And I'll explain that in another video as well, why some of the properties I like to manage, because when you have these properties that are a little bit more, and I don't want to say necessarily high end if we're thinking high end, but this is probably like B, maybe B minus neighborhood. You have better tenants and they're a breeze to deal with. So those type of properties, don't give away money if you don't have to. Don't ever pay somebody to do something that you can do yourself easily, right? So I don't have any property management fees. I've got this insurance here, right? This is insurance. This is my monthly insurance premium. So that's per month. So at this rate, I'm in what, $1,300. I will say I set aside $100 a month just to put in savings, stack it up. I always set aside money because you never want to spend all the money, cash flow, and then when something come up, you don't have it, right? A lot of people, they put aside 5% for CapEx and then like maybe vacancy rate. So this would be equivalent to that. I want to point out that I try to keep it simple for you guys, okay? I'm not going to throw out all these acronyms and all this real estate jargon that you're going to have to remember. I think that's what overwhelms people. That's another feedback that I get when I ask my mentees, like, why do you start investing? They're like, well, I read all these books and it's so much, it's overwhelming. It's like, I got to know this and I got to know that. And they never start because they're trying to remember everything. You don't need to do that, okay? So what you're comfortable with setting aside, and you know your finances best than anybody. So whatever you're comfortable with setting aside, put that aside. On this property in particular, I put aside 100 and I just call it savings. Saving for a rainy day, right? At this rate, I don't have any utilities on it, by the way. Everything is covered from a tenant, and tenant covers the lawn. There's nothing else for me to do on this property here. Obviously, I got to pay taxes, right? I like to put aside property taxes is fairly low. I'll be honest, not too much to pay on this property, but I'll save. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set aside another 200 for property taxes, right? And this is taxes. We don't want to think we've been cash flowing at the end of the year. Big. You got a tax bill, right? So I set aside this for taxes, and that's because I want $2,400 at the end of the year to cover my liabilities, right? So we got 11, 13, 14, 16. That means I am now cash flowing $400 a month off this property. That's my cash flow. That is my cash flow right here, which is, you talk to any realtor or a real estate investor, you will learn that $400 a month cash flow is a nice place to be. Some people are a negative 100. Some people are just cash flowing 100, 3, right? I like to, if I can get between 300 to 500 a month on the property, I'm winning. Cash flowing 400 down here, right? This is all from my refi. But the great thing about this is that, remember, I got this 117 that. What am I gonna do with this? I'm gonna repeat this process. Repeat, do the same thing all over again. I can get another 23, I could get 30, right? I could get 40. I can cash flow another 4, I could cash flow 2, or I could cash flow 5. If I get a deal from the auction, I don't have to put as much into it, and I want to take out a little less, I can cash flow even more. There's so many things that you can do with the BRRRR strategy, right? Just absolutely love it because, again, It hits all three of those strategies. And the main strategies for both building the real estate is going to be lump sum, right? Those are usually when people flip. And then you've also got your buy and hold. Obviously hits two different things. You get equity and you're getting cash flow, but some buy and holds, like for instance, buying in a state like Jackson, Mississippi, where I am, those don't increase in equity as much. So I wouldn't count that as an equity buy, right? That is strictly a cash flow buy. So understanding your strategy, your needs, and your risk is how you can use one of those three strategies, do a deal that fits for you. So this is a BRRRR, right? So we've got buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. You get to recycle your money over and over again because we know that you guys are not a bank, your money is not infinite, and we want to stretch it as much as we can. So we're going to use the BRRRR strategy if we need to reuse money. Even if, again, if this was a loan, you can down pay that loan off quick. You got a large lump sum and your cash flow. It's more likely for a person to do this deal with having a loan up front. A lot of people like to use a hard money lender. They give them, 12 to 18 months, which is more than enough time to renovate a property, rent it out, and refinance and go on to the next deal, right? Those hard money loans, I hear they have. I've never used one, by the way. I am familiar with them. I have friends that are lenders. I've inquired about one before when I was thinking about getting in real estate before I even bought my grandpa's house, and it was like a 10 or 12% interest rate, and I was like, damn, no, right? Because I'm a numbers person, and I'm just not giving you that amount of money, and I didn't know what I was doing at the time, and I didn't want to get into put myself into a situation where I'm paying this person a ton of money, and I have to go take out a conventional loan anyways, and I'm like, dang, now I'm getting hit with double interest. I should just take the conventional one in the first place, right? So there's a different strategies that you can take, especially when it comes to funding. Those would be other videos. If you guys like this video and you want to see more, just go ahead and drop some comments. If you want to see some more math behind real deals that I've done, or if you'd like me to actually map out an actual situation for you, I'm happy to do that. If you're a corporate employee and you're looking to go to cash flow, or if you're not a corporate employee and you're looking to cash flow, make sure you comment BRRRR in the comments, and I will go ahead and reach out to you and we can get something set up so I can help you on your journey to real estate. Like, comment, and subscribe.